Hello friends, welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters with Joe Machado. I hope you've enjoyed your summer, and it looks like we're getting into a really nice spring here. Hopefully it'll last a couple of months. It's been quite a while since I put out a video, probably about 2 months now. But yeah, we've been very busy here at WSIB Settlements, expanding our footprint throughout the province. We're gaining a lot of members in pretty much every major city in the province, and gaining some momentum, which is exactly what we set out to accomplish. And that just means that our program is working. We're helping a lot of injured workers, and that's the goal. That's my goal. And of course, it's making a lot of people at the WSIB very nervous, especially the fat cats, and you know who you are. I talk about them often. They're the ones upstairs, the ones that earn the big six-figure incomes, pulling everybody else's strings. And we're actually making them work for their money, and they don't like that. They don't like that at all. But you know what? In case you haven't got the memo, we're just getting started. And this is to you, the fat cats. We are just getting started. We're going to give you the same kind of treatment that you give injured workers when you cut them off and you bully them and threaten them, and basically make them feel like a piece of shit. We're going to make you work. We're going to give you that same feeling, because you know what? Even though you're the fat cats and you're up in the lofty offices of the upstairs, I can tell you this, we're getting to you, and we're going to keep doing it. And you know that we are. We know how to get to you and make you work. And it's, look at this. It's kind of like, a really bad toothache, except in your case, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse, because we're not going anywhere. And as my, my salute to my friends down at the WSIB, and of course to you, my subscribers, and for those of you watching for the first time, welcome to the channel. This is the channel where we call the WSIB out for their bullshit, but we don't just call them out for their bullshit. We actually have strategies to help our members win their cases. And it works. So friends, the last video that I talked about was the different types of settlements that you could get from the WSIB. And I talked quite a bit about the number of different settlements that are available, and the differences between WSIB benefits and settlements as opposed to your typical insurance companies. So today, I'm going to talk about money that the WSIB could owe you. And, unless you understand the law intimately, and I'm talking about the last 3 major amendments to the workers' compensation laws, dealing with the Workers' Compensation Act, and then the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act that was amended in 1998. Unless you're very familiar with those laws and the different structures of benefits, you're really never going to know whether or not you're being compensated properly. And having been in this business for over 30 years, and specializing in all 3 major acts and amendments, we've created this new service to help you understand the benefits that you've received, but benefits that you didn't receive that you're entitled to receive. And believe me, the WSIB, they're not going to come out and tell you what it is you're entitled to receive. I mean, in most cases, they'll give you the basics, but that's pretty much it. They're not going to go into details. They're not going to tell you, if you were an apprentice, for example, when you had an injury, or if you were a student, how your benefits should be calculated. They don't typically come out with that stuff. They don't like to tell you about benefits that are going to cause them to pay out more money than they want to. And this is all in my experience, and over 35 years of experience of dealing with these people. So we've created this new service to do a very in-depth review of your case. And believe me, it doesn't matter if your case is from the 1980s, the 1990s, or recent. it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think your file was closed and there's nothing else you can get from them or anything else that you're entitled to receive. That doesn't matter. As long as you have a claim number, we can do this in-depth review and provide you with a written report as to what benefits you're entitled to receive, why you're entitled to receive those benefits, the sections of the law that authorize the WSIB to pay those benefits. But we go a step further. We actually look at whether or not they limited those benefits in paying your claim, or they didn't even tell you about them. So we can find that out, and that's based on experience of over 30 years. So let's get into some of the benefits that you would be entitled to. And so we'll talk about claims before 1990. So 70s to just before 1990, January 1st, 1990, when the law changed and Bill 162 was introduced. So we're dealing with pre-1990 pensions. So in my case, I had my injury in February of 1986. So all of the laws that applied to the types of benefits that I was entitled to receive are under the pre-1990 Act, the Workers' Compensation Act. And so one of the main benefits is a pre-1990 pension, which I receive. I receive a percentage of the loss of my fingers, and that percentage will pay me until the day that I die. I can receive increases to that pension as I have over the years. I can have my pension reassessed. I can ask to have a secondary condition allowed within my claim. And the secondary condition would be something, for example, where, for example, I have overuse of my left arm or my left hand as a result of not having all of the function in my right hand, which, by the way, I do have, and I'm very happy about that. But I could try to get my left hand or arm included in my claim as a secondary condition. So this is a bit of an extreme example, but there are other types of secondary conditions that I could get. So that would increase your overall pension, and that pension, of course, gets paid to life. Now, you could also be entitled to supplements. There are 3 different types of supplements that are applicable to benefits for pensions or for injured workers who have received benefits for a claim before 1990. And they're all under the Section 147 of the Workers' Compensation Act. And under the Section 147.4, Section 147, you have Section 147.2 supplement, you have a Section 147.4 supplement, and you have a Section 147.14 supplement. Now, a Section 147.2 supplement was paid for the worker while participating in vocational rehabilitation services. That is now what is referred to as return to work services. Or in the 1990s and late into the 1990s, it was referred to as labor market reentry services. So you would be entitled to receive that pension, that supplement, along with your pension. And so the two combined would equal 90% of your net average earnings. If you weren't allowed or entitled to the Section 147.2 supplement, you may have been entitled to a Section 147.4 supplement, which is a much smaller supplement. And that supplement goes to age 65 unless you could demonstrate that you're not entitled to the Canada Pension Old Age Security Pension, in which case the supplement will continue until you die. The 147.14 supplement is a supplement that came into effect on January 1st, 1995. And it's applicable to individuals who receive a pension for a pre-1990 injury, such as mine, and they receive a 147.4 supplement, so that smaller supplement. They're entitled to the additional $200. So these are the benefits that are payable for individuals that were injured before 1990. Now, I'm just giving you some basic information. We can get into a lot more detail, which we do when we review your case to determine whether you were appropriately paid when you were entitled to receive those supplements. We actually do the internal calculations to make sure that they were calculated properly. And speaking of calculations, another service that we provide within this new service is a calculation of whether or not your weekly rate was calculated properly. And so the weekly rate can be referred to as the earnings basis. It's referred to as the compensation rate. But the term that most people are familiar with are the weekly rate. And that's what you would have received when you were first injured. The WSIB also refers to as a Section 32B benefit, or total temporary disability. So when that initial rate is calculated, there are various factors that the WSIB can take into consideration, which in most cases they do not, that could cause that rate to be higher. Again, that's part of the service that we provide as well. And believe me, let's say that we were able to get just $1 an hour more that you were entitled to when they calculated your earnings, but they didn't factor that in. You could be looking at over $100,000 in arrears benefits. And I'm saying that because we have been successful in doing that for a lot of workers. And this is why the WSIB hates me, because I know these laws intimately and in detail. So those benefits, that weekly rate will affect all of your benefits that are payable after that. So the supplements that I talked about, the pension, more importantly, because with increases in your pension, you also get the annual indexing increase to your benefits. So it's important to have that rate calculated properly, because it will affect every single benefit you receive in terms of money. So supplements, pension, other benefits such as healthcare benefits, those aren't affected by that rate. So if you were injured after January 1st, 1990, the same method is used to calculate that weekly rate. Of course, there are many, many factors that can affect that calculation. And also, instead of a pension, you would be entitled to receive a future economic loss award. And that future economic loss award would pay you for the losses that you experience, the financial losses that you experience between what your escalated pre-accident earnings are and what you're able to earn after you're injured. So the WSIB, through vocational rehabilitation services or through labor market reentry services, they would have reviewed your employment characteristics. They would have considered the limitations imposed by your injury. So in other words, your restrictions. And if your employer was able to re-employ you in a different job or even in the same job at a reduced rate, the WSIB would pay that future economic loss award benefit. If the employer was not able to re-employ you, then they would offer labor market reentry services. And the main goal or the main objective of labor market reentry services was to help you come as close to or exceed your escalated pre-accident earnings. So for example, let's say that you were a high wage earner and you worked in a manufacturing setting. And let's say that you earned $20 an hour. And let's assume that after your injury, you were left with restrictions and you're not able to go back to your pre-accident job, and your employer doesn't have a job for you, and the WSIB provides labor market reentry services. The objective would be to provide you with support, whether it be through retraining or job search assistance, to help you approximate that escalated pre-accident earnings. In a lot of cases, So that escalated pre-accident earnings would be that $20 an hour. In a lot of cases over the years, we saw a lot of people get screwed in that whole process, where the WSIB put them into some kind of a customer service program or security guard, or generally earning or employment where earnings are very, very low. And they would pay the difference, and the person would end up with a very small monthly benefit in comparison to what they used to earn when they were working. And they would do that and close your file whether or not you actually receive or were successful in obtaining employment in that that new job that they were supposed to support you in obtaining. So there are reviews, mandatory reviews, once that future economic loss benefit has been awarded. There's a 24-month review, and then there's the 36-month review that comes after that. And then they would lock in the benefit until 65, but they found many creative ways of reopening that benefit. So we look at all of that to ensure that it was done properly and within the law. So then if you were injured after January 1st, 1998, when Bill 99 came into effect and the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act became law, there was another major restructuring of the benefits. And rather than future economic loss, you would receive a loss of earnings benefit, which is likely, if you're watching this video and if you have an active claim with the WSIB at this moment, you're probably receiving loss of earnings benefits, or your loss of earnings benefits may have been reduced or stopped entirely. Within Bill 99, so that's for all of the claims after January 1st, 1998, the WSIB has a method of calculating your weekly rate. Again, that has changed from what it was before 1998 and before 1990. And so we are very familiar with how those calculations are done as well, to ensure that they're done properly and that you receive everything that you're entitled to receive. The loss of earnings benefits is reviewed once a year up until you reach the 72nd month, at which case, or at which point that is the last review, and then it's closed until 65. I do have other videos that I've posted over the last year that talk a little bit about these benefits, how they're calculated, so if you want to learn about them in more depth, just go back and review some of my other videos. But in terms of doing this actual review of your WSIB money, these are all of the different factors that we would look into pertaining to Bill 99, Bill 162, and pre-1990 claims, to ensure that you are properly compensated for your injury. And as I said at the beginning of this video, the WSIB will not, in my experience, doesn't always disclose or isn't always forthcoming about these benefits and how they're calculated. And when that happens, you have no way of knowing if you've been properly compensated. And also, as I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter whether your case is closed or your file is closed and how old your case is. We can go through all of that and give you peace of mind and let you know whether or not your benefits have been calculated, whether you've received the full compensation that you're entitled to, and whether or not there's money owing to you. When you're dealing with benefits, another thing that it's important to know is arrears, and how the WSIB pays for arrears benefits, and whether or not they should pay interest on those benefits. Again, oftentimes they're not going to tell you whether or not you've been paid arrears or interest on arrears. And particularly when dealing with older claims, claims in the 1990s and the early 2000s, that can make a lot of difference at the end of the day when it comes to getting those benefits paid. So when we do our calculations, we make sure that that you're entitled to whatever benefits you're entitled to, we do an annual calculation, and we do that escalation or indexing factor to make sure that it's properly calculated all the way through, and that when you receive a check, it's the amount that you should be receiving. Other benefits that we look at that also translate into money are survivor benefits, independent living allowance, personal care benefits. These are benefits that are paid if your claim is managed under the serious injury department of the WSIB. In order to have your claim in that department, then for claims before January 1st, 1990, the threshold is 100% disability, so your pension is 100%. Your case is dealt with by the serious injury program. Or if you have a 60% non-economic loss award, then your case should also be managed by the serious injury program. And there's a lot of benefits within that program that you may or may not be aware of. And again, it's part of this review that we do. So, my friends, as always, for those of you who are new to the channel, I welcome you to the channel. And look at my videos. There's a ton of content that I've put out over the last year and a half, and there's a lot more coming. If you have any questions about today's video, by all means, send me an email at joemachado@wsibsettlements.com. Put it up on the screen here. And visit our website, WSIBsettlements.com, and see what we do. There's a lot there that we offer to help you in your claim. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me to build the channel and increase our footprint throughout the province. It's free to subscribe. Please share my videos, and if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. That also helps. And if you have any comments, by all means, I read the comments and I try to reply to as many as I can. So send us a comment. So the new program that we're introducing is Your WSIB Money Review. Your WSIB Money Review. All right. Go on our website. It's available there. And it'll probably be worth your while to have that review done because we don't leave anything on the table. And if they owe you money, we're going to tell you about it. We're going to help you go after it. All right, friends. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I'll be coming out with more regular videos now, once a week, to talk about a lot of stuff that we have on the go and how some of the laws can help you, and some of the tips that we offer can help you address issues that you have with your claim. All right, my friends, and until the next one, take care.